This is actually the tool from which the idea of the Prohoe Manufacturing tools originated. In about 35 years ago, I dug a trench to put an addition on our home, and I dug it by hand, and that night it rained and the trench caved in. I needed a tool to rake that mud and muck out of that trench. Went out behind the shop, cut this out. You can see it's really rough. I cut this out with just an electric welder and tacked it on the end of a pipe handle and used it to scrape the slush out of the bottom of the trench. I was done with it, so I threw it back in the scrap iron pile. A while later, we used our disc before we should have. It was too wet, and we plugged up between some discs and we dug it out again. We did that sort of thing for 5 years before I decided that it might be something that we could market using that type of material. We were having a bit of a tough time on the farm, if you remember the 80s and early 90s, and so we looked for a way to add to our income, and this seemed like a logical idea to move along with. So we took this idea, and we'll see in a second here where it went from there. This is actually the first tool that I manufactured back in around Christmas time of 1990, and showed this to some relatives. It was just put on I reshaped a pitchfork handle, mounted it on that, but the main thing I was interested in was the quality of the material in the head, a recycled disc blade. And so that's what we've used ever since for all of our tools, recycled disc blades. They gave me some encouragement, but it was a long ways from starting a business. So for the year of 1991, I just made very few models, maybe 25 or so. And then in 1992, I worked out of a chicken coop or a chicken house on our farm that was vacant, and we began to sell them it was a part-time business, and we sold a number of them in 92. The fall of 92, the school where we have a part of our manufacturing business did not open, and we purchased that in March of 1993. Since then, we've added on to that building. We've purchased this building, which was a community center. So we not only have recycled disc blades, we've recycled buildings. And so now we're at the point where we have about 16 employees. One interesting thing about this particular tool, it's the only one I have where the artist who made our logo actually hand painted the picture on the front of the tool. Her name was Candy Sanford, and I had an idea of what the logo should look like. She worked with that for a while, and she called me and said, "This is just not working. Can I make something and let you have a look at it?" So she painted this logo, and we've been using it ever since. And incidentally, the word rogue is a double meaning word. It's supposed to be an elephant that has left the herd, is very aggressive, and a danger to anything around it. But it also is a term they use when they remove all the weeds, and even in seed corn, they remove the highs and the lows so they get a uniform crop to harvest seed from. So this is the reason we chose that word rogue, and I asked her to make one that looked like an aggressive elephant. I don't know how she could have done any better.